See here, this is what we are discussing is about the three-level architecture, right? Now, this before this three-level architecture, um, a two-level architecture was introduced. By whom? By the DBTG group. In 1971, the DBTG database task group has introduced a two-level architecture for database designing. Here, the DBTG task group appointed by the a conference on data systems and languages. This is CODASL. By the CODASL, they have appointed a group of people to introduce database architecture. That is what? Here it is a two-level architecture. It contains two layers of abstraction. Two layers of abstraction. One is the system view, or we can call it as a system schema, and another one is the user view, or we call it as a subschema. So after this invention of this two-level schema or two-level abstraction, they introduced another kind of data abstraction. So one more data abstraction is required to separate the user views from the databases. To separate the or isolate the user views from the database, it is required to have one more level of abstraction. So the ANSI group, this ANSI, American National Standard Information Group, they have introduced a three-level architecture, which is known as ANSI Spark three-level DBMS architecture. It was introduced in 1975. So here, before we discuss this three-level architecture, we have to know what is a schema, what is data abstraction, and what is meant by data isolation, and what is meant by data independence. These are the things we must know. If once you have the idea on all these things, like a schema, data abstraction, and what we said, data independence and data isolation, then we can easily understand what is this three-level architecture. Many other DBMS have this DBMS is a commercial point of view. Many different DBMSs are there, like MySQL is there, Oracle is there, and MS servers are there, DB2 is there. So all these are the DBMS or DBMS only. So all these will be following this three-level architecture only, the basics of this three-level architecture only. This is a theoretical model. Based on this model only, the DBMS architecture has took place, and practically based on this we will be implementing it. So all these terms, like what is implementing, what is practical, what is theoretical, all this right now at this moment you feel it as a confusion words only. But later when we keep entering into the subject, when we start working with the databases and practically, then we will understand what is the exact meaning for all these terms. Right now this is only a vague idea for you and little bit confusing, but try to understand this part, and when you work with the practical part, then you can able to understand what is the exact meaning for all these things. You will definitely at that moment you will get the idea. Right now, what is a schema? We will just discuss the words that we make use in this three-level architecture. What is a schema? Schema is what? It is a structure of the database. What it is? It is a structure of the database. Now, a structure of the database in the sense what you may be working with so many different number of files, or you may be working with so many number of records for the database, right? So what will be the structure of each and every record? For your knowledge, you know the C language, right? You know C language, and there you have used structures. There you have used structures, or you may have used union. Like what will be the structure of the struct student or union student? So there you might have taken student number, student name, and so on. So this is a structure of a student record, or a structure of a union student, right? So how much amount of memory it is going to occupy for each and every data type. So all this is what it is, a structure you are going to define or design. This is nothing but the schema of the student structure. This all of you know, right? Now when we are working with the database, exactly how you are going to store, whether you are going to store it in the form of files, whether you are going to store it in the form of tables or in the form of objects. So all this, whether you are going to structure the data or unstructure the data, all this depends on the DBMS, type of DBMS you are going to choose. So we, for our lab purpose or for our practical purpose, we are going to use RDBMS. RDBMS in the sense what? How the structure of the data we are going to present there in the form of tables. Tables, for tables another name is what? It is a relation. So we call it as a relational RDBMS. RDBMS means relational RDBMS. That means the data we are structuring in the form of tables. So logically, how you are structuring it? You are structuring the data in the form of tables, right? So that is a structure for tables, or a schema of the database which contains the tables. I think you understood this. So schema means the structure of the database. That is what? Deciding or describing the structure of the database is nothing but the schema. Now this schema is over. Now coming to the data isolation. Data isolation means what? Differentiating the data or database from the users. Differentiating the database from the users or application programs is nothing but data isolation. Data isolation means separating the programs from the database, or separating the database from the application programs or users is nothing but the data isolation. That means if you make any changes in the database or data files, it should not affect the application programs or user views. That is what it is. And also we call it as data independence. What it is? Data independence. Now data isolation in another way also we can consider what it is. If you make each user's view of the data is separate, and each user's view of the data is separately given here. And now and also we say that how the changes made by one operation. One operation means one kind of operation means here it's nothing but transaction or calculation or modification. So changes made by one of the user by making one of the operations, how they are visible to the other concurrent users, how it is visible to the, how the changes that are made by one user or one operation, how it is visible to the other users. Okay, so this you will come to know what it is exactly. Right now we will move on to the next term, that is data independence. Data independence, we said that it is if you make any changes in the database, it will not affect its higher levels. Or if you make any changes in the database, you need not make any changes in the application programs or in the user views, right? This is what data independence. Now these are the terms we must come to know before we start this. Now let us take an example of so if you consider a bank organization, if you consider a bank database we will be accessing the bank database. How we are accessing? As an individual user, I may be accessing my bank account by using my mobile phone. So in the mobile phone, I may be installing my app. As soon as I enter my user ID password, it is able to show me the screen of the bank application, right? Then such screen, whatever it is entering my user ID and password, whatever it is showing on the screen, that is nothing but the user view. What it is? User view. Maybe that is the view 1. I am accessing my bank account by using mobile phone. So how it should look in the mobile phone? So that look or that view is nothing but maybe view 1. So you may be going to the bank for the ATM, and in the ATM you may be entering your PIN, right? Soon after entering the PIN, it will be showing you on the screen some format, right? It will be showing you some text or some things will be shown in the form of buttons. It will be showing, and you could able to enter the values, and it will be asking you to enter some details. It is asking you to enter. So that screen is nothing but another view of another user view of the bank database, another user view of bank customer database, right? So let us consider it as a view 2. So database is bank database only, database is related to the customer only, but I may be looking it in some format, and you may be looking it in some format, and bank employee may be seeing that in another format, and a manager is viewing this bank database in detailed format. So right, all these are the bank database views only, but differently seen. So based on the requirement or based on the authentication everybody is having. So based on the authentication and based on the requirement of the user, the views will be given, or views will be designed for the bank database. So at this level of designing or describing these views for the bank database is nothing but external level views or user level views. External level views, or we can call it as a user level views, right? So the description of these views, user views, all these user views is nothing but external schema. What it is? External schema. What we are saying is schema is the structure of the database, but because of the data abstraction at each level, we are going to describe different structures for the database. So here at this level, what is the external? At the external level, for each user view, there will be differently it is designed. Each view is differently designed. That for the mobile phone in one way, for the ATM in one way, for the bank employee one way, for the manager in another way, right? But all are related to the bank only. Now, at this level, who is working out, who is doing this? The application programmers may be using it, like the people who will be using the Java programming language, will be writing the programs or writing the front screens, or the people who are working with the HTML, or people who are working with the PHP. All such people, whoever is trying to design the data front screens for the users, or forms may be designed, right? You may be entering some kind of forms and things will get submitted into the database. So all such things are developed by what? Developed by whom? Application programmers, or maybe web designers, or maybe the front view. By using the front view tools, it will be designed, right? Now coming to the next level, or this is a middle level. This is the highest level of abstraction. This is known as the middle level of abstraction. This is the lower level of abstraction. Here we are calling it as abstraction. That means whatever the lower level details are there, they need not be known to its higher levels. In the same way, whatever the details are described here in the conceptual level, they need not be known to the higher levels. So this is what abstraction. Hiding the abstraction, in the sense hiding the difficulties or hiding the complexities at the lower levels. Hiding the complexities at the lower levels to its higher levels is nothing but data abstraction. Okay. Now coming to this conceptual level. So after giving the different user views for all these things, after giving the details for each and every user view, combining all these details, finally a consolidated or a common view, a common structure is defined. That is nothing but conceptual schema. What we call it as conceptual schema. So this conceptual schema means what? It is the overall structure of the database. What it is? It is the overall structure of the database. Overall structure means what? Here it is just mentioning the main entities. Entities means maybe tables, or maybe files, or maybe objects. So the main entities which are required for the database are only mentioned in the conceptual schema. So the main entities or main tables, and what are the fields that are required in each and every table, all that is only described at the conceptual level. So this is the conceptual level, is the higher middle level of this 3-level architecture. Okay. Now coming to this, this is also conceptual schema or conceptual level is also known as logical schema. Conceptual schema or conceptual level is also known as logical schema. When we are deciding that this DBMS must be implemented by using RDBMS. DBMS must be implemented in a relational form. That means by using the RDBMS. Relational form means in the RDBMS. So if it is decided it should be implemented by using some relations, then the structure that we are going to describe is in the for the tables. Then it becomes the logical designing of the database. Now coming to the next level, that is physical schema. So before entering to the physical schema, let us explain with an example. In this bank example itself. So okay, every user, the user 1 is working with one table, user 2 is also working with the same table, but user 3, that is the bank employee, is working with some 3 different types of tables, and user 4, that is manager, is working with all 10 different types of tables of the entire database, right? So overall, the consolidatedly whatever the things are required out of all these tables, that we are considering. Any kind of extra duplicates are there in the fields or extra duplicates are there in the files, duplicated things we won't consider, only finally whatever should be there, that only will be considering, the duplicates will not be considering here. Now coming to the example, if you are planning to construct a house, everybody will be at your home, everyone will be giving your own ideas regarding the home designing, house designing. So one may be giving the design of the hall, one may be giving the design of entire outlook, one may be giving the design of your house kitchen, and one may be giving the design of bedroom. So when you are asked to give the design of your children bedroom, definitely you will be providing so many details for that. When your mother is asked to give the details what you require for the kitchen, definitely for the kitchen so many things need to be arranged, so all that she will be providing. Her idea she will be giving. So based on all these different ideas given by different members in the family. So different ideas means what? This is a hall idea, this is a front look idea, this may be bedroom idea, this may be the kitchen idea. Like this, these are the different ideas described. That is means the different user views. But all these views are related to the house only, right? But different views. So consolidatedly, combinedly, collaboratively. So this overall plan will be done for the house. So for the house, one diagram will be, final diagram will be drawn, that is nothing but the layout of your house. What it is known as, it is the layout of your house, in which all the rooms which are planned will be drawn in the form of lines or in the form of boxes, right? This is the overall, that is the overall design of your house, which is known as the layout, which is also known as the blueprint of your house, which is finally sanctioned by the engineer, right? So this is what, this is also here, this is the overall design of the entire database, and this is designed by the database designers. And what are the things that are provided here? Only the main entities, that is only the main tables that are required, and what are the fields in it, only that much, and what is the relation from one table to the other table, only that much is provided here. But now let us move on to the physical level or physical schema. Physical schema is also known as the internal schema or internal level. Like when finally designed, when it is designed finally, the things must be stored into the memory, right? Whatever the data you are entering, they must be stored into the memory. So before the, at this level, the things, what other things are designed for this? Okay, here only main entities, that is main tables and fields only are designed. Here it is going to plan, or it is going to describe what are the fields and what is the data type of each and every field, data type of each and every field. Like customer number is there for the bank, customer number. What is the customer number? It is a numeric form or not, whether how many characters or how many numbers, digits it should accept. So maybe 5 or 6, a customer ID, how many, maybe 7 or 8 numbers will be there. So what is the width of customer number? Name, maximum size, what it is, date, in which format we should enter. So all such details, how much space each and every data field is going to occupy, that you are going to describe at the physical level. That means inner details, inner details or in-depth details you are going to describe at the physical level. Based on that, the operating system will be based on the operating system rules, it is going to store in the hard disk, store the database and its files in the hard disk, right? At which locations it is going to store all this is the physical schema or physical level, or even we will be calling it as internal level of the database abstraction. Now physically, where the data is getting stored in the hard disk, whether it is using the indexes. Here it is deciding whether it is using indexes to before it is going to store, whether it is going to hash tables to decide at which locations the table records must be stored, and like this so many things will be described here at the physical level, which are related to the internal level of data storages, right. So even if you make, this is what the things that we describe in these three levels. Now coming to the next thing, data independence. Data independence is of two levels, that is logical data independence, and one more is the physical data independence. One is logical data independence, another one is the physical data independence. Data independence here, what it says is, if you make any changes, if you make any changes at one level, those changes does not affect its higher levels. That is data independence. Abstraction means complexities will be hidden. Complexities will be hidden. That is abstraction. So data independence, what it is doing at the physical data abstraction means if you make any changes at the physical level, like if you change the size of integer from 2 bytes to the 4 bytes, there is no effect in its higher levels. It will not affect in its higher level. If you change the storage from one hard disk to another hard disk, or if you make the indexes differently, or if you make change from centralized database to distributed database, these changes will not affect its higher levels. This is what data independence. What data independent it is? Physical data independence. Physical data independence. So whatever the changes that we make at the physical level, those things will not affect its higher levels. That is the physical data independence. Coming to the conceptual data independence. Conceptual data independence. This is what overall, this is overall consolidated design of the database, where only main entities and fields were described, right. So here if you add some entities, some more entities if you are adding, some more fields if you are adding to this designing, then even in such case also it will not affect user views. Okay, extra user views can increase, but whatever existing views are there, you need not change them. Again and again you need not write the application programs for or front end designing for these existing user views. Okay, for whatever the extra things got added, extra views you can design, but for existing things you need not make any kind of changes. So that means what, any changes or any updations that are made at the conceptual level, they need not affect, they does not affect its external view levels. This is what conceptual or logical data independence. So this is about the three level architecture. This is very important one. This is only a theoretical concept. Based on this only the database designing and the development will be done for any kind of organization. Okay. Now still I will explain it by showing some example on the screen while doing the lab. Like what will be considered for the external view, what will be considered for the conceptual view, and what will be considered for the physical view or internal view. That will be, I will be explaining you when we actually work with the lab, right. It's some example. So right now thank you for listening, and try to understand, try to take the points. If you are unable to understand this at somewhere, because these are all new terms for you, again and again you try to hear, you will definitely understand what it is, and further when we enter into the subject along with the examples, you can understand it better. Thank you. So at this level, so after completing the explanation of this three level architecture, hope you understood what it is, but I am just showing you one example. So this is a external view. This is view external view 1, and this is external view 2. This how, on what basis they have designed, user one maybe expecting or he is willing to see only this kind of information, or he is seeing only this kind of information, maybe in the form of a form page, or maybe in the form of some kind of certificate kind of thing, or maybe some few text boxes with these values, right? So this structure or data structure, what it is for the external user one. So these are the fields with which he is accessing. So what are they? S number, first name, last name, age, and salary, right? And another person we working using another kind of view, and what are the fields he is accessing using? That is a staff number, last name, and branch number. Staff number, branch name, and last number. So this view and that view is different. Maybe this view, some of the fields may be similar to that view fields, right? And same, there may be some kind of duplications may also be there, or there may not be any kind of duplicated fields. Maybe the field names spelling is different, but meaning is same. So like that, different way in different views it is being described. Now coming to the conceptual view, this is what? This is for the external view we are showing. This is for the conceptual view. What is a conceptual view or conceptual schema? This is overall structure of the database. So consolidated design of the entire views of the database, that is overall structure of the database, is nothing but here we are describing in the conceptual level, right? So here logically what they are, this at the conceptual level what are shown here: staff number, F name, L name, date of birth, salary, and branch number. See here, S number we didn't consider, only we have considered staff number. The intention of S number is also nothing but the staff number only here. So that's why instead of taking S number and staff numbers both separately, the meaningful name, that is staff number, is being considered here. Now coming to the first name, okay, first name, last name, there also last name is there, last name we have considered, and date of birth is not given here. Date of birth is not mentioned either here or there, but date of birth instead of age, it is better to have date of birth in the database storages. So that's why instead of age we are considering date of birth in the conceptual schema. Now salary and branch number, like this overall structure, overall fields will be collectively considering from different views, and then we are giving the structure for the conceptual at the conceptual schema level. Now coming to the physical level, this is what physical schema. So here the inner details, that is even data types, constraints, and even other things like hashing calculations will be there, and indexes will be there. All that will be given here at the described here at the physical schema level or internal schema level. Now you know the C language. In C language you will be defining the structures for a records purpose. Like here we are considering a structure staff. Whatever we have given here, for that we are in depth, we are going to describe it by using the data types also. What it is, a staff number is of integer type, branch number is also of integer type, F name, first name, is of character array, maximum characters it can consider is 20. Like the same for all the other things, all the fields we have given here. And finally there is a pointer we are mentioning, that is a next, which is of a structure staff type. That means what? If you store one record, the next record, for the next record, there it is connected, linked by the by using this pointer, and next record is also linked by this particular pointer. So for that purpose we are considering the pointer here, right? So this is a description that we are going to use at the physical, that is internal level, which is physically stored in the database. which is physically stored into the database storages. Now, coming to the two more terms that we are going to use in this is this schema. This schema or a database structure is fixed. Once you define, it will not, we don't expect this to be changed every time. Once finalized, this is a fixed one. Okay, very frequently, once in a year or once in 2 years, this may be getting changed. But once it is decided, finalized, this is a fixed one. This based on this only, we are going to develop the databases. Now, this is what schema. This is a description of the files or description of the records or description of the databases at different levels is nothing but the different schemas. This is one. Now, coming to the storage records, when you are really created this, based on database based on this. Now, next, you will be storing the values in the form of maybe records, right? So you will be storing the values. So the real storage of the values or each record that you enter for this purpose, each record that you enter for this structure, that is nothing but the instance. This is the schema, and what the value you enter in the form of a record is nothing but it is an instance. Instances can be of any number, but structure is only one here. But for this structure, based on this structure, you can enter instances or records for so many staff members. So many staff members. That means so many instances for this structure staff will be there in the databases. So that is it. A schema will not change once it is finalized, but whereas instances may keep on growing. That means the real values, real records, what you enter, that is nothing but the instance, database instances or database instance. So here the schema is also sometimes called as intention of the database. Intention means what? Based on this structure only we should enter. That is what intention. So the schema is sometimes also called as intention of the database, and the instances. Instances means records or values. Instances are also called as extension or state of the database. Extension or state of the database. Now, yeah. So this is about three-level ANSYS Spark data DBMS architecture, or just DBMS three-level architecture. This is very, very important one.